The Ray Darcy Show on RTE Radio 1, proudly sponsored by Volkswagen. Volkswagen.ie.
and words that you think are part of our vocabulary nowadays and need to be in there. In the meantime, we'll have a little tune.
Available the 29th of September online. Is it pre-ordering now online? Alright, listen, Dr. Andy Brown, great to talk to you. Alright, have a good day there. What do you think? 086 7700 555. We can talk about it, but nothing's changing. 07491 25,000 if you wish to talk about it. Right, getting on to some of your comments coming in. When I had my baby, I had just left an abusive relationship and was emotionally unable to breastfeed. My son has grown into a very healthy and well-developed child. I disagree with Dr. Brown, and I think in fact that too much pressure is now put on new mothers to breastfeed. It's unnecessary as children develop equally as well on either. Listen, you know best, but it's medically proven that, you know, there are benefits, but just because harm doesn't come to every single person who doesn't, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try and avoid it for some. I'm explaining that convoluted, but delighted that you have a healthy child. But I think what I'm trying to reflect is that it seems to be the general medical consensus that breastfeeding is best. A caller just had a new baby. The attitude very much was, if you want it, it's your decision. I tried it, but it wasn't for me, and opted for the formula. The lack of staff and availability of their time to talk through the issue was a reason for me giving up. And it has, you've just gone through a hugely big ordeal, and you have to make that decision early on, don't you? And if you're not getting the support, it's so easy, I would imagine, and I can only imagine, to take the path of least resistance. A caller's got an injured fox in their garden. What do you do with it? It's Darren, actually. He's got an injured fox in his garden. Any advice? Would you call the council on that? I'm not sure. There are groups, of course, that nurse these animals back to health and release them into the wild, but Darren wants to do the right thing, so he's got a fox in his garden. He wants to know what he should do. If you can help, 086 7700 555, or call us on 07491 25,000. Greg, Gina Grant from Our Children's Voice says that she welcomes the fundraising event and thanks the cyclists for coming to Donegal. She says, we look forward to having this badly needed money for the children and look forward to it being spent on palliative care and look forward to working with the Donegal Hospice on this. Okay, Gina, happy to read that out for you. Hi Greg, motor insurance has gone crazy, much higher than water, but not a march or protest in sight. Waiting for a renewal quote. There was a protest organised for Dublin, but it didn't gather momentum. I think because it's so people are, the increases are happening now, and I had to change over my insurance to another car and was hit with an extra 300 quid a year. So if you're changing mid-policy, they're going to smack it on. And I said, why? He said, that's just what we're doing. But you know, this time next year, everyone's quotes will have been renewed. Very few people will escape a significant rise. So we'll see if that hardens people's attitudes at all there. A caller says, can you please ask your listeners for advice for me? I'm against a brick wall and like a volcano ready to erupt. A colleague of mine rang work last weekend. She said she couldn't come to work as her mum was really ill. In fact, she was in hospital, wait for it. It has come to my attention that her mum wasn't sick at all and alive and well in the house. My boss has even given her forced paid leave. I cannot believe that the boss and supervisors are gullible. She's done this so many times. Oh, you've got a work colleague who is claiming they have a sick relative. It's very possible though that the mother could be at home being cared for. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit softened and I would have to get all the facts, but I can imagine how frustrating it is for you. If you've got any advice or words of wisdom for our listener, get in touch. Give us a call, 074 9125,000. Now, time for a break. Back in a couple of minutes.
Today's Sean Doherty Show comes to you in association with City of Derry Airport, now flying direct to Mallorca for summer 2017 with First Choice and Thompson Holidays. Frank Monaghan is your local independent financial advisor, offering professional advice on a broad range of financial services, including pensions, mortgages, life assurance, savings and lump sum investments. For more information, contact Frank Monaghan in Letterkenny today on 9124662. Frank Monaghan Company Limited is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
At Air, we're setting sport free. Setanta Sports is now Air Sport, and we're bringing the glory of the Premier League to you for free. That's every thrilling moment of 42 Premier League games, live, exclusive and totally free on Air Sport and BT Sport channels with all Air broadband bundles. Call 1-800-303-431. Go in store or visit air.ie to set the Premier League free for you. Air Sport is free on all fixed line broadband bundles, subject to availability. T's and C's apply. See air.ie.
There's more to Kelly Centra than just low prices.
Well, I suppose what I really like about Kelly's are their convenience, the quality and the price.
On my way home, it's so easy. You just pull in. It's so handy for me just to go in, grab my groceries.
Everybody wants to be able to pull in, get what they want and pull out. Because Kelly's provide that, it makes it a lot easier to use.
Kelly Centra, Mountaintop Letterkenny, supporting the community with more than just low prices. Get the room you've always desired with a little inspiration from Gidor Furniture and Flooring, Factory Road, Derrybag, with their massive choice of beds, mattresses, sofas, bedroom furniture and an array of flooring. Call into their showroom where they can take the time to advise you on the best choice for your household needs. Open 6 days a week for your convenience. Telephone 9560848. Remember, we're not just furniture and flooring, we're Gidor Furniture and Flooring.
If you're between 18 and 35, running your own startup in an established business or at idea stage, consider Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur. There's an investment fund of €2 million with 50,000 to be won in Donegal. To enter, click ibye.ie or for more information, contact Donegal Local Enterprise Office. We're looking for Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneurs. Closing date is October 14th. Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur is an initiative under the Government's Action Plan for Jobs.
Whether you're travelling for business or leisure, fly local and choose City of Derry Airport for a convenient, friendly and reliable service. Fly local and choose City of Derry Airport. Direct flights to Glasgow International, London Stansted and Liverpool. Summer Sun programme now available for 2017 to Mallorca with First Choice and Thompson Holidays.
Dr. Christina McGarrigle is a research director with Tilda. Good afternoon to you, Doctor.
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me on.
It's our pleasure. Now, we're talking about research recently launched on the success of ageing, and I presume what we can do to ensure we are most successful at ageing.
Yes, yeah, exactly. What Tilda is a nationally representative study that follows 8,500 people in Ireland. We go back to them every 2 years and we measure things like their health, their well-being, how they're feeling about things. And what this really lets us do is understand the science that underlies that process of aging so that we can understand what we need to do and what to modify in order to maintain successful aging.
Is it fair to say that there are, I mean, as your body gets older, you know, it's machine and parts wear a little bit and what have you, that there are minor things that if we keep an eye on, they're really quite manageable and extend our life and improve how we age?
Exactly, that really is it, exactly. And what we have found in Tilda was that quite a lot of people had health conditions that were undiagnosed. And so for those, what we need to do is make sure that we go see a doctor, get ourselves diagnosed so that we can take appropriate treatment. So for instance, in Tilda we found that 64% of the population over 50 had hypertension, so that's high blood pressure. And amongst those with it, 45% were unaware of their condition. This was particularly true in men aged between 50 to 65, so what we want to ensure is that people do go to their doctors and have these conditions diagnosed, because we know, for instance, that untreated high blood pressure is one of the things that will lead in the future to stroke or dementia. And so really, if we can do anything to prevent those conditions that make our aging less healthy and less well, we need to do that now, particularly around midlife.
Yeah, and you know, maybe someone who was 40, 25 years ago were thinking, can't wait to get to 65 for retirement, relax, put my feet up. Well, it's now, hold on a second, granny and granddad, here's some children that you now have to care for, and perhaps you want to do some volunteering or take extra courses and what have you. 65 nowadays is a very different age to it was going back a few decades.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. What we have found in Tilda is that what really wasn't known fully, I don't think, up until around now, was that the huge contribution that older people do make to society. But the good side of that is that when you do engage in active social participation and have strong social networks, it's actually associated with much improved quality of life, reduced depression, and volunteering really is associated with very high quality of life. But what we did find was that 1 in 2 older adults provide care to their grandchildren. So that's, you know, 50%. People are also substantially contributing to volunteering. I think at least 25% of over 50s had volunteered, and I think it was 1 in 5 in the last week at least. So they were at least daily or weekly volunteering. So really, it's quite a substantial.
And you want to ensure, if that expectation is on you and you want to do it, you want to ensure that you're the healthiest you can be. I've spoken to a few older people who, you know, want to maybe do a bit of exercise, but they feel that, you know, it could do more damage than good and what have you. I wonder, is there enough done in terms of, you know, helping people to know what level activity is safe and that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, physical activity is something else that really everyone should be doing, but particularly when you reach that older age, it's still very important to keep it up. I know they say if you're going to start a new exercise regime, maybe you should speak with your GP first, but walking is a really effective exercise. And if people do their 150 minutes a week, is the recommended level, that in itself can maintain really good health, as long as it's a brisk walk. And we've also found that that's associated with really improved well-being and quality of life and lower depression in those who did maintain regular exercise compared to those who didn't.
Yeah, Tilda, I hadn't heard much about Tilda before. Whose idea was it? Normally we're not sort of, we're behind the curve a little bit, but we seem to be really looking at this in a very serious and organised and constructive fashion. You know, planning for the future is what I'm getting at.
Yes, yeah. Tilda started actually in around 2006 was when the planning for Tilda started. We have been going since 2010. We've gone back every 2 years, so we're currently on the 4th wave, what we call, when we go and do all the interviews with people again. And really, some of the science or the sophisticated health assessment measures that we're taking actually have made us world leaders within the aging study internationally. So we are part of a number of other aging studies, and we try and ensure that we all have the same, track as many of the same variables as possible, so that we can do this comparison. So what we can look at is aging within countries, but also globally. And from that, we can really learn from our international partners as well as from our own studies.
Okay, and the information is used how again? Sorry, Doctor. Who is it? Does it help form policy?
Yes, it does. One of our main purposes behind Tilda is to ensure that science is translated directly into policy. And so we work very closely with the Department of Health, who are one of our funders. We also work closely with a lot of non-government organisations who would be involved working with local groups. So, for instance, activity like active aging or active retirement, age-friendly. There's an awful lot of NGO groups who would work very closely with people on the ground, but also very much so into policy. And as I said, the government are one of our main funders, and so for them, they're interested in understanding what the evidence base is, so that if they do make a policy, it can be one based on actual real fact. So it ensures that when the money is spent in health, it's spent correctly and aimed aimed at the right people.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on and explaining that to us. Very interesting, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Good afternoon. Dr. Christine McGarrigle there, Research Director with Tilda. And it's a significant thing, you know, if you look at some of the statistics, which is easy for me to say, globally, this is how the demographics and age groups, age profiles are going to change. Life expectancy is increasing, which is good, but there is a reduction in fertility rates. So this will see proportions of people over 60 and over increase by 11.7% today, up to 21% by 2050. So that means that by 2050 around the world, 1 in 5 people will be over 60. That's 2 billion people worldwide. Whereas global aging carries many challenges, we read, it also presents opportunities. So interesting stuff there. 8,500 people Tilda interview on a reasonably regular basis. So that makes it means that they are it's a real good representation there. Great news for the Sean Doherty Show team that received a nomination in this year's PPI National Radio Awards. The programme's been nominated in the Interactive Speech Programme for Sean's interview Taking the Scare Out of Palliative Care with Kathleen Ruddy prior to her passing in the Donegal Hospice. This was on Friday the 30th of October. Kathleen and her daughter Mary came into studio to talk about Kathleen's diagnosis, an incurable form of brain cancer, and to highlight the importance of the quality of care for people within different care settings in the Donegal Hospice. And then we learned, of course, that very sadly, a few weeks later, Kathleen lost her battle with her brain tumour. It was an inspirational and emotional piece that talked us through a very personal journey of hers, which someone managed to reassure families that there is light in the darkness. It also helped remove some of the worries and stigma that is often associated with the palliative care services. So it's great news for Sean and Caroline and Kira and the rest of the team. The PPI Awards are seen as the Oscars of the radio industry. And this year's event takes place in Kilkenny on the 7th of October, so fingers crossed, hopefully that works out. But it's an amazing thing to be shortlisted, because they're inundated with, obviously there's so much radio in this country, so if you get shortlisted, you're doing very well indeed. Please, 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 asks the caller, could someone explain to me what good is the Irish language? We all speak English here anyway, and that comes in from a woman in Dunlow. Who thanks me for reading that out. I'll probably get hung-drawn and quartered for reading it out, but I think the majority of people that have contributed to the programme today on that issue of the Irish language are suggesting that, you know, we should be using it, we should be promoting it, and I was really surprised at the amount of people that are looking for somewhere to speak conversationally. They're not necessarily interested in writing a book or even reading, but want to be able to converse at whatever level in Irish. So there is a demand for that out there. 086770055 if you wish to comment on anything or get in touch with us. You can also call 0749125,000. Back after the break.
Today's Sean Doherty Show comes to you in association with City of Derry Airport. New summer sun programme from City of Derry Airport to Mallorca for summer 2017.
Foilside at the centre of the latest styles and on-trend advice, with fresh new colours for both wardrobes and skin tones. Foilside's at the centre of new season fashion. See what's new for you in over 50 top-name stores. Foilside, shop at the centre of new season fashion. See foilside.co.uk.
If it's electric, electronic or gas, Ben Sweeney Euronics in Letterkenny and Dunlow will have just what you need. With 40 years experience, they make sure every customer gets a great service every time. From smart TVs to laptops and tablets, washing machines to fridge freezers and gas cookers or hobs with a free gas offer, you'll find what you're looking for every time. Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road Letterkenny and the shopping centre Dunlow. Just what you need.
Hi, Sam Marie here from SM Fitness. It is our aim to teach children and adults that fitness is fun. Our classes include bounce, hip-hop, drama fit and piloxing. Classes are non-competitive and all-inclusive, inviting and welcoming anyone who wants to burn some energy and have some fun to join. Check us out on Facebook or visit smfitness.ie. SM Fitness, Letterkenny and surrounding areas. We keep you and your kids active.
At McFadden's Pharmacies in Letterkenny, we care about our customers' health and experience pharmacist is always on hand to offer advice on healthcare, lifestyle and the best use of medicines. We also offer top brand cosmetics and makeup, mother and baby care needs, first aid essentials and much more. Your friendly local pharmacy, McFadden's on Old Town Road and in Letterkenny Shopping Centre. See mcfaddenspharmacy.com.
Donegal Texel sheep breeders will hold their annual show and sale of pedigree rams and ewes this Friday the 16th in Raffoul Livestock Mart. The show is at 4 with a sale at 6:30.
WhatsApp, one of the biggest messenger services in the world, and for many free. A lot of eyes were raised when Facebook posted out. Why would Facebook be interested in this? Where's the money in it? Well, maybe we're starting to find out. Julian Merceau is a lecturer in University College Dublin. Hi, Julian.
Hi.
Right, so WhatsApp, over 1 billion people use it. Why wouldn't Facebook want their greasy little mitts on all their info?
Oh, sorry, the line is not really good. Why would WhatsApp not want?
Why? I mean, it's not surprising that Facebook would want to acquire WhatsApp, is it?
Yeah, well, a lot of very useful, a lot of users, like you said, 1 billion in the world. And when Facebook acquired WhatsApp, immediately anybody who cares about privacy was wondering what would happen. And until recently, WhatsApp had been pretty good at preserving privacy for its users. But now, with the new policy, that's going to change, and some of our data will be given to Facebook.
And what do you think of that?
Well, I think it's very dangerous because when you use WhatsApp, the understanding people have is that their data, such as their contact list or their phone number, will remain private, and now it's going to be used for commercial purposes and for other purposes, which is not that clear according to the new policy, but for whatever Facebook wants to do with it.
And you mentioned, that was the whole ethos of WhatsApp. I remember using it, I've been using it for absolute years, but those behind it was very much about, we respect your privacy, we're not here to, bombard you with ads and all that. It was a real cop-out, a real sellout.
Exactly. At the beginning, WhatsApp, was pretty good. And one thing to give them that they've done recently, some months ago, which was very good, is to establish end-to-end encryption for messages. That just means that when you send a message, only you and the person you send it to can see it. Even WhatsApp cannot see your message. So that was good. But then the new policy undermines that to some extent, so we don't know how it's going to develop. But
those using WhatsApp would have seen a pop-up and I agree or later sort of a situation, and I just have a feeling that a lot of us, to get rid of it, because it pops up every now and again, we're just going, all right, I agree, and out of it. For those who have yet to agree, would you suggest they don't? How can they opt out? They can opt out, can't they, Julian?
Yeah, you can opt out. It's not too complicated, but it's clear that WhatsApp doesn't want you to opt out. But when you have to scroll down a bit, and the article I give a very precise guide. It's 2 or 3 steps, and you just uncheck a box saying you don't want your data to be used for ads. The problem with that, it's just that it's a partial opt-out. So all you do when you opt out is that you say, I don't want my data to be used for targeting ads at me, but they can use it for other reasons, right? So it's really partial. And the other problem is that it's an opt-out. They should have said, by default, we will not use your data unless you opt in and you really tell us, yes, please go ahead, use our data. Of course, they're not doing that because nobody would agree.
No one opts in, do they?
Yeah.
But are we too precious about that type of data? I know people, they're Google to them is just like this, big brother that wants to know everything about them. But if we share data, say for instance I'm driving from Donegal to Dublin, Julian, and I'm being tracked, Google Maps is following my progress, and 5 of us seem to stop in one area so they can say, right, the traffic's congested there, and then that information is passed on to you on the same journey. Should we not be sharing data and not worry so much about it? What can be done with it? What's the harm in it?
Yeah, well, the thing you described about the map, that's not exactly data. I mean, it's anonymous data. You would see cars, and it helps you because you know there's traffic.
Right.
But nobody knows who. You don't know who it is. If you knew who it was there in the traffic, people would probably object to that. But of course, some data is always going to be shared. I mean, you can't live a completely anonymous life, but it's the extent to which it's happening and the ends for which it's happening. This one is, I mean, Facebook doesn't need any more money. I mean, they're very, very rich, so they're asking data again and again for more commercial purposes. And again, that's a value judgment. Some people could say, I don't care, I'm happy that my data is used for making more millions for Facebook, and if that's the case, they can choose to do that. It's not a problem. But in general, people will resent that, and that's why the policy is problematic.
Julianne, you mentioned, and I want to get a, you can tell us where this guide is. If I've already clicked accept in WhatsApp, is it too late to opt out?
No, you can, again, it requires a few steps, and I say how to do it in the article, but you can go back, and then you can kind of uncheck the same kind of box, and you'll be fine for the ad part of it.
Okay, and where's this article that you're responsible for, Julian?
It's on the journal.ie in the opinion section.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you think we're going in terms of our data? You know, I mean, these mobile companies are going to want more and more info about us because that's how they can make some cash. Are you concerned about the way things are going generally?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen with the Edward Snowden revelations, the National Security Agency in the US and its counterpart in the UK, they're really gathering a lot of information, a lot of data from Skype or from any kind of social media. There are alternatives. That's what's important to understand. There, something like in the article, I talk about Signal. Signal is an app just like WhatsApp. Most people don't know about it because it's not used by as many people as WhatsApp. It does the same thing except about 10 times better. So it's very good for protection of data. There's no way that even Signal can know what your messages are or who you're sending it to, things like that. It's so good that the protocol that WhatsApp uses for its encryption is the Signal protocol. So it's not two separate things. So you can download Signal just like you would download WhatsApp, and that's it. You're ready to go. You're fully protected. The problem with that is that few people use it. So most of your friends won't be on Signal, and you'll have to convince them. But that's one alternative.
And that's so secure. Websites or organisations or people that invite whistleblowers to pass on some information are suggesting people use Signal, I understand.
Yeah, exactly, because if you use, let's say you say contact us via Facebook or something like a general email, an ordinary email, they're not secure. I mean, they're secure for...
You might as well just email it directly to Hillary Clinton while you're at it.
Exactly. So it depends. Like, most people, if you just email your friends, say, we meet for dinner at this place, it doesn't really matter if anybody knows that. But sometimes, whether if you're an activist or just you want private conversation, you have to be careful. And unfortunately, there doesn't exist an app that has 1 million users and is fully private. But there are alternatives out there. And, or you can just really opt out of WhatsApp or use it for certain communications with others.
Okay, very, very interesting stuff, Julianne. I'm going to have a look at that article on the journal.ie. Thank you very much for coming on and talking to us about it.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care of yourself. Julian Marcil there, who's a lecturer in the University of College Dublin. So you can opt out of the WhatsApp stuff. We'll try and link that on our Facebook page. And while you can get all the information on the Facebook page while you're trying to access the info and how to not give it to WhatsApp. 086 7700 555 is the text line. 07491 25000. Those numbers active throughout the course today. You don't just have to get in touch with us when online or on air, and you can always email the program sean.doherty@highlandradio.com, and your emails will be picked up if you want to maybe explain something in a little bit more detail or what have you. Then the email is probably a good option for you there. I had a question asked this caller regarding how to go about ring-fencing money raised for the hospice, where it can go directly for the terminally ill children using the hospice. I heard Lee mention it there, and it's made me interested when it comes to raising funds to help children directly. But of course, the conversation I had with Lee, and Lee's involved with a group of other people at fundraising for the hospice through a cycle. The information he said was that they've been told that by the hospice. I don't think it'd be too difficult in that organisation or any organisation to say that right, this money will focus on improving the care for the 36 terminally ill children. But I'm open to correction, and I'm open to being told what the actual situation is. In regards to breastfeeding, says this caller, we are a product of our environment, and we've lived under the shadow of the church's shame, and we are finding it hard still to break away. Feed away, mothers, says that texter, and so say all of us. Right, 086770055 if you wish to text the show, 0749125,000. We have a quick outbreak today, and we'll be right back.
Today's Sean Doherty Show comes to you in association with City of Derry Airport. Rebook your airport parking online for the most competitive rates.
The hit show Legends of American Country returns to the Millennium Forum in Derry on Wednesday the 21st of September. Featuring the music of all of the top American country music legends, with 4 great singers and a full live band. Tickets are on sale right now from the Forum box office on 028-712-64455 or check the website out at millenniumforum.co.uk.
At Blue Poppy Orthodontics Donegal Town, we provide you with a relaxed and calming atmosphere to make sure you have the best experience no matter what your treatment. So now that the exams are over, it's the perfect time to get those braces fitted. Blue Poppy offer competitive pricing and payment plans with reduced rates for more than one member of the family and under 16s. Remember, Blue Poppy are open Saturdays and consultations are free. Call 9740404. With Blue Poppy Orthodontics, your smile's ahead.
Dizzy Rascals Children's Play Centre have great packages for parties, whatever the occasion. No fuss, no stress and no mess. Just loads of fun with music, food and Mickey and Minnie Mouse. For your next children's party, including special themed parties, contact Dizzy Rascals at Old Town Letterkenny on 917731.
Imagine awakening to the sound of the sea, looking out at the majestic views of the islands of Gola, Inishowen and Inishowen. Chack Glashagidor is situated in the heartland of the Giggled area, surrounded by rugged views of the wild Atlantic way that will take your breath away. With ceilidhs, traditional music, live music every weekend, restaurant, extensive bar food menu served every day, and 27 beautiful ensuite rooms, Chack has all you need under one roof. Chack Glashagidor. It's all here. You should be too.
Is big business muscling small farmers off the land in the west? In this week's Farming Independent, Claire McCormick explores why locals are at loggerheads with companies buying up land for forestry. Derek Casey profiles the latest in driverless tractors. And we've got all the information you need to plan your trip to this year's ploughing championships. Plus, don't miss your chance to enter our €60,000 tractor and sprayer giveaway. The Farming Independent. We give it to you straight. Every Tuesday in the Irish Independent.
Fly local and choose City of Derry Airport. Book your airport parking online for the most competitive rates. City of Derry Airport car parking is available from only £2 per day. After the first day, terms and conditions apply. Visit cityofderryairport.com for more information.
There's far too much money being pumped into the Irish language, believes this caller. It shouldn't be compulsory in secondary schools. Students should be allowed to opt out of it. And we're being told that conversational language classes will be taking place in Inishowen in the coming weeks. So when we get specific dates in those or on those, we're more than happy to read them out. Right, that's all we have time for. We're going to play a piece of music rather than rush anyone. Coming up till 1 o'clock. Stay tuned. Donald Cabinet's on the way with news. Brian Gavigan then for Gary Gamble taking you up to 3:30, where it's the Lee Boot Show. And then on and on from there. My thanks to Caroline Orr and Kira Johnson who produced the programme, and of course most importantly to you for listening. We're back with you tomorrow from 10. Have a great day.
afternoon, it's 1 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the Highland Radio News Desk with the lunchtime news. Gardaí have renewed an appeal for information about a collision in Lifford 2 weeks ago after one of the two drivers involved passed away at the weekend. Minister Simon Coveney says it's unlikely water charges will return under the same model as before, but he says water still has to be paid for. Meanwhile, Right to Water have launched their submission to the Expert Commission on Water, saying it's scandalous that the terms of reference don't take the social impact of charges into account. A Fine Gael backbencher says that Taoiseach's leadership of the party needs to be addressed between the next two budgets. A West Tyrone MLA says a major house programme is needed in West Tyrone. And later, at around 1:15, we'll have the sports news with Oisin Kelly. Good afternoon. Gardaí have renewed an appeal for information about a collision in Lifford 2 weeks ago today, after one of the drivers involved passed away at the weekend. The deceased man has been named locally as 72-year-old Seamus Murray of St Columbus Grove in Lifford. With more, here's Quisha Connolly.
The two-car crash happened outside Lifford on the Letterkenny Road at 3:15 on the afternoon of Tuesday the 30th of August. The 72-year-old male driver and sole occupant of one car was injured and taken to Letterkenny University Hospital, where he died on Friday. The other car was driven by a man in his early 30s who was uninjured. Two passengers, both children under 7 years of age, were also unhurt in the collision. Gardaí are appealing for witnesses or anyone who may have been on the road between 3 o'clock and 3:15 to contact Letterkenny Garda Station on 074 916 7100, the Garda Confidential line on 1800 666 111, or any Garda station.
Minister Simon Coveney says water charges are unlikely to return in the same form as before, but he said today water still needs to be paid for. Fianna Fáil are calling for it to be paid for through general taxation. The former Environment Minister Alan Kelly says it would be illegal to scrap the charges. Minister Coveney conceded today the way water charges are paid for is likely to change.
I think it's very unlikely that we'd reintroduce water charges on the same model that was there before, because I think there's a need here for a change in approach. But I do think that a lot of people in Ireland understand the logic behind people making a contribution linked to the amount of water that they use.
Well, Right to Water Donegal say it's hardly a coincidence that Fianna Fáil has decided to unveil a new stance ahead of a massive protest in Dublin on Saturday next. In Dublin, Right to Water launched their submission to the Expert Commission on Water today. The group claims it's scandalous that the Commission's terms of reference don't take social impact of charges into account. Right to Water coordinator Dave Gibney says the government is subverting democracy by not dealing with the issue.
I think people are very frustrated and angry at the fact that 70% of TDs who were returned to the Dáil this time around are against water charges, yet Fine Gael and the government have managed to try and prolong the debate about this. They're subverting democracy, and that's the way people feel.
A Fine Gael backbencher says the Taoiseach's leadership of the party needs to be addressed between the next two budgets, but one of the leading contenders for the job says he's happy to let Enda Kenny make the call on his leadership at the right time. And Simon Coveney says suggestions of some ministers plotting is a case of people looking for conspiracies around corners that don't exist. From the Fine Gael Think-In in County Kildare, this report from Pádraig Gallagher.
Day 2 of the Fine Gael Think-In, and despite Enda Kenny insisting he's going to stick around for up to 3 budgets, some in his party aren't happy with that. Cork South West TD Jim Daly says Enda Kenny himself has said he won't lead the party into the next election. This won't go away, and the party needs to have the conversation about a replacement.
So I believe between Budget 1 and Budget 2 that we have to deal with the leadership issue, and I think that the Taoiseach will have to have the conversation with the parliamentary party.
And Kerry TD Brendan Griffin, who also wants the leadership issue addressed, says there are many more who feel the same but aren't saying it.
It is a common feeling. Not everybody's prepared to say it publicly for various reasons.
One of the leading contenders to replace Enda Kenny, Minister Simon Coveney, says the vast majority of the party respect the Taoiseach's judgment on when it's time to go. But
looking 3 years ahead looks like a long time at the moment politically. I think what the focus in government and the focus of the Taoiseach is to bed down this government, to get a budget through, and to start solving people's problems.
And on reported plotting and briefings, Simon Coveney says people might be trying to find conspiracies around corners that don't exist.
A West Tyrone MLA says an urgent programme of housing new builds is needed across Northern Ireland, and especially in the vicinity of Strabane and Omagh. Speaking as the Assembly returned from recess, Daniel McCrossan said West Tyrone has been left behind with fewer social housing new builds there than in any other constituency since 2011. Mr McCrossan says the entire system needs to be overhauled.
Yesterday, figures revealed that across the whole entirety of Northern Ireland, 40,000 people are on waiting lists, waiting to be housed. In my constituency, there's 1,400. Over half of them are housing stress. Quite a number of them are homeless and sofa surfing, and a lot of them are young single men as well, which is where a huge issue exists, because the system requires a certain amount of points, and then one person can overleap the other, so the system needs to be changed. And yesterday in the Assembly, it was appreciated widely across all parties that the selection processes and the points processes need to change in order to ensure that the most vulnerable in our societies are accommodated and houses. But in Strabane, the Minister has announced there's 109 houses being built soon. I welcome it, but we need much, much more to address the very real issues that we have right across West Tyrone.
And as you've said, as long as there is a point system in place, a single man living alone is going to have very little chance of securing accommodation, because inevitably the focus and the priority will be given to families.
Well, the system as it sits is discriminating against single men, and not just single men, but elderly people that are on their own, people that whose families have grown up. I know a woman that has been left behind, and that she has moved 3 times to private accommodation. All 3 times the house has been repossessed because she cannot get the house to the housing association, or to the housing executive, sorry. That needs to change. The system needs to deliver. It was designed to deliver for people in need, and it's doing the exact opposite. And I think that if the Minister takes lead on this, we could truly address the real issues we have locally. But in Strabane, in Omagh, I want to see new builds to deal with this problem. If we have houses, we'll have people accommodated, and this issue will go away.
And that was MLA Daniel McCrossan speaking there. Senior management at the HSE are being urged to show clear leadership and do the right thing for patients. The Executive's Winter Initiative will see 55 extra acute beds at 5 hospitals across the country suffering severe overcrowding. Letterkenny University Hospital is not included in that list. The Irish Association for Emergency Medicine says given 1,600 beds were lost from the system during recent years, this is a mere drop in the ocean. It comes as the number of patients waiting admission at Letterkenny University Hospital today rose to 15, 13 of them on trolleys in the emergency department this morning. Dr. Fergal Hickey is spokesperson for the Irish Association for Emergency Medicine. He's a consultant in emergency medicine at Sligo University Hospital.
Obviously we welcome anything that will bring about any improvements, but this is societally unambitious and is not going to make any significant difference, and really it's disappointment to all of us who work in emergency departments, but particularly patients who languish on trolleys in increasingly large numbers.
A Donegal deputy is calling on the Health Minister to provide additional ambulances for the county in a bid to reduce the costs incurred by Letterkenny University Hospital. HSE figures have revealed that last year Letterkenny Hospital spent €1.3 million on private ambulance services, up from €707,000 in 2014. Deputy Charlie McConalogue says the figures prove the ambulance service in Donegal is not adequately funded.
It shows, in my view, the fact that it is not sufficient to be able to cater for Letterkenny Hospital's needs, nor indeed for a wider county's needs. That's why Letterkenny is instead actually hiring private ambulance to do the work that the public ambulance service should be doing. So I have written to the Minister for Health seeking a review of this and seeking a review of ambulance services in the county, seeking that the service level will be brought up to ensure that it actually can cater for our population, can cater for incidents and different areas of our county, and also for our own hospitals. Because what the figures show in terms of private ambulance hire from Letterkenny Hospital is that the hospital has had to dip into its own cash, which is much needed running the hospital, to actually hire private ambulances, when instead that should be provided by a public ambulance service.
Now, the costings isn't the only element here, though. We do see, even in your own constituency, that there have been calls for an increased ambulance service there in Inishowen, because one full-time ambulance just doesn't seem to be sufficient.
So we certainly need additional services in Inishowen, and indeed I think that these figures show that we need additional services throughout the country, because there has been a difficulty across Moneygall, and particularly so in Inishowen in the last year or so. But it's also, and the figures tell the tale, it's also been an issue for Letterkenny University Hospital, where they have had to double their spend on private ambulances. And that can only show one thing, and that is that the National Ambulance Service is not sufficient in our county to cater for the level of demand that is being asked of it, both by the hospital and also by people who need it in emergency cases across the county.
And that was Deputy Charlie McConalogue. It's 1:10 and we'll take a short break.
Floors are us burnt foot. Carpets, laminate, engineered and solid wood flooring. Also suppliers of waterproof, laminated tiles, rugs, internal doors and flooring accessories. At Floors are us burnt foot, we use only expert fitters. And all floor and carpets are supplied and fitted within 1 week. We believe in giving quality at the right price, and we have flooring to suit all budgets. Call into the Floors or us showroom at Burnfoot for a free quote.
Whether your baby is a fussy Finn, a greedy Gary, a messy Mia, a sweet-toothed Susan, or an always hungry Hannah, at Boots we know how important it is to feed them well. That's why this week at Boots you can buy any 6 stage 1, 2 or 3 Hallam Gate jars and save a third off the price. Boots, for more ways to feel good. Subject to availability, see in-store for details.
Embarrassed to show your feet in public due to a fungal nail? Genesis Skincare and Laser Clinic Gidor specialise in treating nail fungus in men, women and children. We also offer laser hair removal, glycolic peels and laser skin tightening, plus the removal of unsightly leg and facial veins and skin tags. Our Genesis Hair Studio offers men's grooming, colouring, highlighting, hair and makeup packages for all your special occasions. Genesis Skincare and Laser Clinic Gidor, just 40 minutes from Letterkenny, 9532575.
Dance the night away on Saturday 17th to Patrick Feeney and his band at the Nesbitt Arms Hotel, Ardara. Entry €15. Call 074 95 41103 for more details on Patrick Feeney. Saturday 17th September.
You're listening to the Lunchtime News on Highland Radio. There were 189 planning permissions granted in Donegal between April and June of this year. That's 33 more than over the same period last year, a rise of 21% compared to a national rise of just 1%. Of the permissions granted in the second quarter, 55 were for new dwellings, 80 for extensions and 45 for other purposes, including retail and commercial. That was Dr. Robert O'Connor speaking in Letterkenny last night. Tributes are being paid today to Katrina Lucas, the volunteer Irish Coast Guard who lost her life off the coast of Clare yesterday. President Michael D. Higgins has written to express his condolences to the family of the 41-year-old mother of 2 who worked as a librarian. The Cathaoirleach of Clare County Council, Bill Chambers, expressed deep regret at the very tragic loss. Tributes also paid by Taoiseach Enda Kenny and the Transport Minister Shane Ross. Books of condolences being opened in the Clare County Council offices today. Well, Matty Shannon is a member of Doolin Coast Guard who worked closely with Katrina Lucas. He says she was a very important member of the team.
assisting, doing the jobs that she helping, recovering, and after saving your life. She gave over 700 hours a year, taking part in the course of activity. She spent, that's not including time, she spent organising and planning for other events in the unit. That's what she did as a worker and as a volunteer during the course.
It's 1:01. Highland Sport is brought to you by Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure Letterkenny, proud sponsors of the Donegal Club Championship.
And we say good afternoon to Oisin Kelly.
Thanks, Donald. We start with Gaelic Games. The provisional fixtures for next year's National Football League have been released. Donegal, Tyrone and Derry will all have 4 home and 3 away games in the 2017 campaign. Richie McCormick has the details.
Start the divisional campaign from Kerry on Sunday the 5th of February. A trip to Roscommon will follow 7 days later before its 2-week break. All-Ireland finalists and defending league champions Dublin will come to Donegal on the last Sunday in February for Roy Gallagher's first Saturday game of the year against the Cavan on the 4th of March. Neighbours Tyrone will make the short trip across the border to Donegal on Saturday the 18th of March, while Monaghan will be the visitors the following Saturday the 25th. The last round games will be on Sunday the 2nd of April against Donegal Grade 2 Mail. Tyrone start life back in the top division with a home fixture against Roscommon on Sunday the 5th of February. That's one of 4 home ties from Mickey Hart's side. The others are Cavan, Monaghan and Mayo. 2 other away games for the O'Neill County are in Dublin on Saturday the 11th of February and Kerry on the final day of divisional games. In Division 2, Derry begin at home to Clare on Sunday the 5th of February in their first of 4 home games. The other ties hosted by the O'Keefe County are Kildare, Down and Cork. The 3 on the road are Meath, Galway and Fermanagh on Sunday the 2nd of April. There's no Saturday games penciled in for Damien Barton's men. And in the hurling league, Donegal will host Wicklow on the opening day in Division 2B, while Derry meet Mayo. Donegal will provide the opposition for Tyrone in Division 3A.
Moving to soccer, reigning champions Dundalk will have a home tie against Derry City in the semi-finals of the FAI Senior Cup. Derry reached the last 4 with a 3-1 win over Wexford last weekend, while Dundalk beat UCD 1-0. On the other side of the draw, John Caulfield's in-form Cork City will travel to Inchicore to face St Pat's. Both games will take place on Sunday, October the 2nd. When Hearts suffered their 6th defeat on the bounce in last night's 2-0 loss to Dundalk, Hearts' next assignment is on Friday when they play bottom of the table Longford Town in Ballybofey. 3 points at home would be a huge boost to their survival in the Premier Division. Ahead of that game, Rory Keaton will be assessed, having picked up a suspected concussion at Oriel Park. Hearts boss Ollie Horgan was sent to the stands for the final 20 minutes last night. He was infuriated at a yellow card given to Hearts goalkeeper Kieran Gallagher for time wasting when Dundalk were making a substitution. The manager questioned the decision and felt he was not in the wrong.
I find it bizarre to be clear from the arrangement, but I'm not making that point. I couldn't understand where they were making a substitution in Dundalk and Kieran Gallagher got booked for time wasting. The fourth official had the substitute board up, they were making a substitution, and yet he got booked. Now, I did criticise it, I just asked the question, and to be fair, there's no language for nothing, but I just feel, you know, look, I don't want to make any comments as regards the officials, we'll ask again fair and square, but no, I've been wrong before when I've been sent off. On this occasion, no, I'll put my hand up if there was, but I most certainly did question the decision of booking a goalkeeper for wasting time, as he said, and they were making a substitution with the board up. The whole game was stopped. The substitution had to take place. There was nothing to do with the goalkeeper wasting time. So I found that bizarre. Was that a key moment in the game? No. But look, listen, you know, if anything, I'm honest. There was no language, you know, but look, listen, that's neither here or there. Thankfully, it was me and not a player that was sent off.
The group stages in the Champions League get underway tonight, with Group C staging perhaps the pick of the action. Celtic have made the trip to Barcelona, while Manchester City take on Borussia Mönchengladbach. In Group A, Arsenal away to Paris Saint-Germain, while Basel face Bulgarian champions Ludogorets. Last year's beaten finalists Atletico Madrid begin their campaign away to PSV in Group D, while Bayern Munich face Rostov. And in Group B, Benfica hosts Besiktas and Napoli go to Dynamo Kiev. All matches start tonight at 7:45. By cross-channel, Tottenham have secured the future of Eric Dyer. The England midfielder signed a new contract that will keep him with White Hart Lane until 2021. Donegal's only triple Olympian, Chloe McGee, is to focus on doubles competition with her brother Sam. The 27-year-old badminton player competed in singles action at the Brazil Games, but will not commit to Tokyo 2020 just yet. Hundreds gathered yesterday evening to greet and welcome back the local girl who's represented Ireland at the Olympic Games in Beijing, London and Rio. The homecoming coincided with the start of National Badminton Week as a big crowd gathered at the Rifle Badminton Hall to watch a number of exhibition games. Chloe says she will focus on doubles for the coming year.
For me now it's more focus on mixed, so my singles career I think it's time to give it a rest and focus now more so on the doubles. So I haven't made any full decisions yet, but yeah, more so mixed now than singles.
Day 6 in Rio at the Paralympics is a relatively quiet one from an Irish perspective. Among those in action, Philip Eaglesham is in the qualification in the shooting mixed 10-metre rifle prone event. The Tyrone man's battled harder than most to get to Rio.
2 years ago was at the darkest point in my life where I didn't want to be alive anymore, and everything sort of creeped in. It was then when I got a bit of help from Somerset Partnership that sort of started to turn my life around and make that decision where we're going to prove to my kids and hopefully inspire other people that no matter how bad things get, you can always do something great.
We started with Gaelic Games and we're going to finish the bulletin with Gaelic Games. All of the GA in schools is now under the Ulster Schools umbrella. The old vocational competition has been done away with. Moving forward, Ulster will be running all competitions, but Donegal will still be divided north and south. There is the benefit of 4 teams moving into the provincial stage, 2 more than was allowed previously. The official launch took place last night at the Sean McCool Centre in Ballymafey, with Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure back in the competition. Football starts next week with the under-16s. Chairman of the Donegal Schools is Noel Ward.
We're looking forward to getting into it, alright. You know, I mean, you have to give this a go and see how it's going to pan out, and there's going to be a few teething problems. We get over those, we'll be able to bring them back to the Ulster Committee and take it from there. Look, that's the way it is now.
And that's it from the sports desk this lunchtime. Back with more later today at 5:45.
Thanks, Oisin. The PSNI officer in charge of tackling drug crime has revealed that police are currently targeting around 50-70 crime gangs within Northern Ireland. Detective Chief Superintendent Andrea McMullen said these gangs can range in size, but police are specifically focusing their efforts and attention on up to 130 people they believe linked to drugs criminality. The PSNI has also published statistics on drug seizures for the first 7 months of the year up to the end of July. With more, here's Catherine Gaffney.
The profiles of these suspects include individuals from Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland and European nationals. Some of these also may have a paramilitary background. The latest figures from the PSNI have revealed that in the Derry and Strabane district, drug seizures for July 2016 were 438, down 8 on the previous year. However, in the Fermanagh-Omagh area, a total of 243 drug seizures were made up until July of this year. That's up 41 from the year previous. Police say it's unclear whether the increase in seizures is due to police becoming more effective or there are more drugs in circulation. The PSNI says it is continuing to work closely with An Garda Síochána and the Border Force UK to tackle drugs crime.
And people are being urged to give up all drinks except water for 10 days to raise vital funds for the RNLI. The life-saving charity is launching its H2 Only Challenge. Shane Smith is a volunteer press officer with Bundoran Lifeboat.
We're inviting people to stay off the soft drinks and the orange juice and the beer and the wine and the paper drinks and tea and coffee for 10 days. And it's basically to allow them to stay on the water, to allow the RNLI to stay on the water is the message. The funds that we raise from this and all the other initiatives that the RNLI do throughout the year are hugely important as they go towards the upkeep of all of the lifeboats around the country, of all of the lifeboat stations, and of course the training of the crew and the gear that the crew wear as well. So every penny counts, every penny that you donate by not drinking your tea or coffee and allocating that couple of quid into a box and sending it all to the RNLI at the end of the day is vital to keep the service running.
And the weather forecast mainly dry with a mix of cloud and some spells of sunshine and highest temperatures of 14 to 17 degrees. Light to moderate northwest to north breezes. Staying mostly dry tonight with lowest temperatures 9 to 12. Again, a mostly moderate northerly breeze. Cloudy tomorrow with rain spreading from the east, heavy at times. Highest temperatures 16 to 18 degrees Celsius. Mostly moderate north to northwesterly winds. Fresh in some coastal parts. And looking now at the closing headlines for this Tuesday afternoon. Gardaí have renewed an appeal for information about a collision in Lifford 2 weeks ago today after one of the drivers passed away at the weekend. The deceased man's been named locally as 72-year-old Seamus Murray of St Columbus Grove in Lifford. Minister Simon Coveney says water charges are unlikely to return in the same form as before, but he says water will still need to be paid for. Meanwhile, Right to Water have launched their submission to the Expert Commission on Water today, claiming it's scandalous that the Commission's terms of reference didn't take social impact of the charges into account. And a West Tyrone MLA says an urgent programme of new builds is needed across Northern Ireland and especially in Strabane and Omagh. Senior management at the HSE meanwhile being urged to show clear leadership and do the right thing for patients by tackling overcrowding in hospitals right across the country. Letterkenny, 15 waiting for beds today. News again at 2 o'clock from the news team. Good afternoon.
The obituary notices for Tuesday afternoon, the 13th of September. The death has taken place at Our Lady's Children's Hospital, Crumlin, of baby Cormac Mark Lafferty, aged 3 months, 14 Emmet Park, Castlefin. Reposing at his grandparents, Patricia and Vincent Lafferty's home, Cork, Castlefin, this evening from 8 o'clock. Funeral leaving his grandparents' home on Thursday at 25 to 11 for Mass in St Mary's Church, Castlefin at 11 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to Our Lady's Children's Hospital, care of any family member. Family time, please, from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. The death has occurred at Letterkenny University Hospital of Bridget Callaghan, Moneygall, Carraway Road, Carndonagh. Remains will repose at her home from 3 o'clock this afternoon. Funeral from there on Thursday morning at 10:30. Going to the Sacred Heart Church, Carndonagh, for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock. Interment immediately afterwards to the adjoining cemetery. Family time, please, from 11 p.m. to 10 a.m. No cards, family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of desire to the Medical 3 Ward, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of Gillespie, funeral directors or any family member. The death has taken place at Altnagalvin of Vincent McCafferty, 13 Alexander Place, Strabane, and formerly of Burndennet. His remains will repose at his home from 6 o'clock this evening. Funeral leaving his home on Thursday at 9:15 for Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Clocker at 10 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to the Foyle Hospice, care of Quigley, funeral directors, 1A Newtown Place, Strabane. Family time, please, from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. The death has taken place at Altnagalvin Hospital of Clare Bow, Ní Callaghan, 31 Glen Road, Derry. Funeral leaving her home tomorrow at 9:20 to St Eugene's Cathedral for Requiem Mass at 10 o'clock. Interment afterwards in St Angus's Cemetery, Burt. The death has taken place in Glasgow, Scotland, of Bridget Porter, Ní Kelly, formerly of Carrickmore, St Johnston. Funeral will take place at Blessed John Dunn's Scottish Church, the Gorbals in Glasgow, on Saturday with 10 o'clock Mass, followed by burial in Lynn Cemetery. The death has taken place at his home of Pat McAwee, 7 St Coleman's Drive, Strabane. Funeral leaving his home tomorrow at 9:20 for Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Melmount at 10 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to Mary Curie, care of Quigley, funeral directors, 1A Newtown Place, Strabane. House, private, family and friends only, please. The death has taken place of Seamus Murray, 9 St Columbus Grove, Ballyduff, Lifford. His remains are reposing at his sister Betty McColgan's home at Penny Lane, the Common, Lifford. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 11:25 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Murlog at 12 noon. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to St Joseph's Penny Dinners, care of Quigley, funeral directors, 1A Newtown Place, Strabane. Family time, please, from 11 p.m. tonight. The death has taken place at the Carndonagh Community Hospital of Alice Blacken, Ballygorman, Mallinhead. Her remains are reposing at Carndonagh Community Hospital Chapel of Rest at the request of the deceased. Removal from there this evening at 5 o'clock, going to St Mary's Church, Ladmallen, to repose overnight. Requiem Mass tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock with interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. And the death has taken place at her home of Bridie Pollock, née Frail, 58, Ballyheather Road, Burndennet, and formerly of Termon, County Donegal. Her remains are reposing at her home. Funeral leaving her home tomorrow at 10 o'clock for Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church Clocker, at 11 o'clock with interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers please to Western Health and Social Care Trust, care of Quigley, funeral directors 1A Newtown Place, Strabane. Family time please from 11 p.m. tonight.
At Pierce Road Tyres in Letterkenny, we offer great peace of mind. With almost 30 years' experience, our staff offer a fast service with impartial advice on the best quality tyres to suit all budgets. We have a reputation for supplying premium brands at great value, and we offer a best price guarantee. Our services also include four-wheel digital alignment, MCT preparation and servicing. We offer wipers and bulbs, clutch and brake replacements, and alloy.
On Highland Radio. I hope you're having a lovely Tuesday and enjoying the sunshine at last without the sun. Maybe this is the start of our summer. My name is Granny Galligan and I'm sitting on for my good friend Gary Gamble, who's away on his holidays, and I'll be playing the very best of Irish and American country music. I hope you can stay tuned from now until 3:30 today. So let's get back to the music. Here's Jimmy Buckley, Gambling Man.
Over the next few years, he's going to be involved in the critical discussions, the day-to-day contact with the Irish government, as well as interacting with the parties in Northern Ireland. So he's going to become quite a significant player. He's 48, has a legal background, tends to be very ambitious, and also very, very affable. But his name will become very well known in Ireland over the next few years as the Brexit debate develops.
So a change in tone while we wait to see what the UK Brexit plan turns out to be.
Yeah, well, you're quite right about Theresa Villiers. She nailed her colours to the mast. As an MEP, she was a Eurosceptic. I remember her track record in Brussels. She argued the case for Brexit, and ironically, even though the Brexit side, the Leave side won, she wasn't offered her job back in Northern Ireland. She wasn't offered a post of similar status, and she's out in the cold even though she was on the winning
alongside, and here she is replaced as Northern Ireland Secretary by James Brokenshire. And I suppose his relationship with Charlie Flanagan, not just say on Brexit matters, but also on questions like how do you deal with the legacy of the past, this new body that's been set up today to monitor the activities in paramilitary organisations. He is going to be a significant figure. And with David Cameron gone from the stage and a new Prime Minister, the reports that he brings back to the new Prime Minister will be very significant, because he will be the person who will have day-to-day contact with the Irish government.
Tommy, good to talk to you. Thank you for that we were able to re-establish contact there. And let's move on to the sports news now. Siobhan.
Going to the Irish Daily Mail FAI Cup semi-final draw has taken place. The holders Dundalk will have a home tie against Derry City, with Cork City having to travel to Inchicore to face the 2014 winners St Pat's. Both games will take place on Sunday, October the 2nd. The group stage of the Champions League gets underway this evening. 8 games in all, including the meeting of Barcelona against Celtic, Manchester City at home to Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Arsenal away to Paris Saint-Germain. Maria Sharapova will learn the result of her appeal against a 2-year doping ban in just 3 weeks' time. The former world #1 tested positive for the banned substance meldonium at this year's Australian Open. Plenty of Irish interest once more on day 6 of the Paralympic Games. Nicole Turner goes shortly in the pool in the 400-metre freestyle of the S6. Alva Kelly, Philip Eaglesham and the Sonar Sailors are also in action today. And Adrian Heskin has this afternoon been appointed as the new stable jockey to Tom George's stable.
Siobhan, thank you. And a reminder of the main news this lunchtime. Housing Minister Simon Coveney has said the vast majority of Fine Gael respect the Taoiseach's judgment on when he should step down. Preparations are underway in Syria to allow aid agencies to deliver supplies to some of the areas worst affected by the civil war. The Department of Transport has launched an investigation into the death of Coast Guard volunteer Katrina Lucas, and police in Germany have arrested 3 Syrian men whom they suspect of being sent into the country by the so-called Islamic State group to prepare terrorist attacks. That's the news this Tuesday lunchtime. Our editor was Kathy Farrell, Kieran Cullen was on sound, and Liveline is next. Until tomorrow at 1 from all the team. Good afternoon.
Do you suffer from foot pain, knee pain, back pain? It's time to visit Foot Solutions, where we can help find out if your pain is related to your feet and make it a thing of the past. Foot Solutions. Visit our stores in Dublin, Cork, Galway, Limerick, Waterford and Newbridge. Your feet will thank you for it.
Many of us believe we have life insurance, or we may just have mortgage cover. Protecting your home is important, but with VHI Life, you can help make sure your family will be financially supported should you die. VHI Life is life insurance made simple for only €21.39 a month, and VHI Healthcare members get a 10% discount. Call us on 1890 444444 or search VHI Life. €21.39 per month is based on a 37-year-old non-smoker for a 20-year term and cover of €200,000 plus the 1% insurance limit. VHI Healthcare Regulatory as VHI Healthcare is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. VHI Healthcare is tied to Zurich Life Insurance policy and VHI Lifetime Insurance. Terms and conditions apply.
Self-assessed income taxpayers, it's that time of year again. The pay and file deadline is October 31st. Unless you use Ross, Revenue's online service. But using Ross you have until November 10th for pay and file, so why not register now and get more time? Register for Ross at revenue.ie and make it easy to pay and file on time.
1850 715 815. Hello, good afternoon. You're very welcome to Liveline. Whereas you have been taking the cat flat that is crossing the Newport, you wish by now the bridge in Waterford, you may have seen Euroball, of course, the last week's single word of it, repeal. Sam Doyle, good afternoon.
Hello, how are you?
You're the man who painted that mural originally, yeah?
I did, yeah. I painted it about a month and a half ago.
What's happened to it since?
Some pro-life people have gone up and tampered with the words. They turned the word repeal into reveal.
What do you think the significance of that is? What does it mean now?
I just think that, the importance
essence of art in social change actually works as a medium. You know, I don't want to debate women's reproductive rights. Because
your point of view is fairly obvious, but what do you think? That was number one, actually, the most important thing is, how do you know that you're pro-life?
Kind of just fishing around online on Twitter. Without names.
Alright, so they claim that have done it, but unlike you, I wonder have they put a video up on YouTube of themselves?
No, they've actually recorded the person who painted the sea their own warrior. Yeah, so that's all we know about that person.
And does this change of a single letter actually, to your mind, change the message?
The answer to the story, the campaign, it's a pity it happened, but they could have put more effort into making something better than just turning a P into a V.
Why is it a pity that it happened though, Sam? I mean, are they not as entitled to their view and to use this little bit of rock high up in the hills over the Waterford train station to say what they want to say as you are?
They are, and I find that interesting. Yeah.
How so?
Because I can't believe that people are pro-life in Ireland. Like, Ireland is not a country what grants people bodily autonomy. And I believe change is coming. You know, it's important to raise awareness.
Yeah. What awareness was being raised there before you painted up your mural?
Actually, Pieta House. And I was quite nervous about covering Pieta House. I didn't know if it was a good or bad idea. But I think people having to travel to England to have an abortion is quite depressing also.
The thing is, though, you're talking campaigning a referendum that may or may not ever actually happen. Pieta House and the mural was there was raising funds, wasn't it, for a crisis that we are actually really right in the middle of.
Yeah, it was. And we are definitely in the middle of that crisis. And the funny thing is that somebody else went up and painted over the rock. And they promoted their new bin company. So they've got a wheelie bin company. And they promoted their business over Pieta House. And then they apologized. And they apologized, and I thought it was, I don't know, was it a publicity stunt or what, because actually in some of the comments under their apology, people said, I would prefer to give my money to a young business than Pieta House.
Okay, now I'm not going to try and sum the bottom of that particular opinion with you now.
So we're getting into wage.
Hang on a second. The difference here is that you knew the reaction that somebody painting over the Pieta House mural had, but yet when the Pieta House mural went back up again, you decided to paint over it with your message.
Yeah, because I thought it was the right time. Pieta House had long enough up there. I think if Waterford won the hurling, Pieta House would have been taken out and a Waterford flag would have went up there to celebrate. that rock is not just for activism. That rock is not for anything in particular.
Any time that I've ever passed through there recently has been the Kilkenny colours of most of the time. And it is celebrating that old Kilkenny Waterford rivalry for the most part is what tends to be up there. What's actually involved in going up there, Sam? I mean, how much paint does it take to make that bit of rock completely white before you put your message up? How many gallons?
Oh, like 20 or 30 metres. It's a pretty heavy load you gotta drag up, you know. Yeah. It's amazing though. It's a real lovely thing to do. Like me and my brother and my friend Liam O'Brien, he's a videographer. So we all went up at Market and we chatted about stuff on the way up. It was like an hour walk up to the spot. And we set up and we worked together and it was a very lovely evening.
An hour walk
There's actually a video of it.
Up on YouTube, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. local paint shop, and we got kind of broken tubs. So a client goes into the paint shop, gets a pink mixed, but they made it wrong. So that pink is fixed there in the shop. And as an artist, I kind of overuse that kind of paint, and they give it away for free.
And did they know what you were going to do with it?
Yeah, I was just making a video project. Yeah.
Well, it can't have taken them too long to figure it out, because I wouldn't imagine there was that amount of pink paint used anywhere else 6 weeks ago.
But I wouldn't be worried, you know, it's art.
Well, is it art, or is it just straightforward political activism, and activism that's at the expense, frankly, of the promotion of the Pieta House message?
Like putting the Pieta House message aside.
Well, no, you can't. Hang on, Sam. You can't put the Pieta House message aside. I mean, I know you painted over it, but you can't just ignore what was there.
Recently, Joe Caslin, an artist, street artist, has painted on the old Jury's factory, and that was in conjunction with Waterford Walls and Pieta House, and it's a huge wheat paste poster, and the concept of this piece is mental health.
Yeah, that's somebody else painting another mural somewhere else. Not
in conjunction with Pieta House.
Yeah.
Actually, you can see the both pieces at the same time. You can see the reveal, and you can see Joe Caslin's face.
Does it excuse you what you did, the fact that there were other murals going up elsewhere for Pieta House?
No, but I think Pieta House has enough coverage, and I don't think Repeal the 8th Amendment has enough coverage. And I think the two of them are in similar positions.
And would you have thought about going to Pieta House and saying, you know, they've just opened up a facility there, actually, haven't they? Or have they opened to the house?
They have, yeah.
And would you have thought about knocking on the door and saying, listen, your mural's been up for long enough, would you mind if I paint over it?
No, because it's been a company situation and all, I thought, no, I'm not even involved, just going up to fight my cause with art. But, you know,
who owns the land?
It's actually for sale, and it's about 45 acres. And don't know who owns that.
Wouldn't be the most useful plot of land in the world, would it? I mean, you wouldn't be able to develop on it or farm on it.
That Jury's building, the carcass of the building is up there.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's all bought up there, probably knock that and do something with it.
Alright, I understand. But you didn't approach the landowners, did you? Or has anybody ever, any of those landowners ever expressed a view of what's going on with this rock?
No, but there was yes for Lisbon, there was no for Lisbon, there was yes for